Yo, this is WSoul13 bringing you Raid Shadow Legends. And today, we're going to be doing the fusion plan for the Walking Tomb Dreng. I don't even know how to say that. Walking Tomb Dreng. Terrible name for a champ, honestly. Like, this would probably be one of the worst named champs in the game, I think. Walking Tomb Dreng. Design, I'm not extremely fond of. Like, there's a guy sitting behind him, I guess, controlling him, probably. I don't know. What does that even mean? It's like a robot or like a zombie. Like, Night Revenants are kind of like these, like, Frankenstein monsters, right? So, hard to tell exactly what's going on here. Flaming swords. So, let's look at the event, and then we'll circle back to the champ to tell you what I think about him and if you should go for the fusion event or not, because the first part of any equation like that is cost. So if you've been at my channel a lot, you know that cost is a huge part of my game, like how I recommend things to my viewers and to my readers on Reddit. So this will be coming out the same time as my fusion guide on Reddit. So if you want a written version of this, it's on Reddit, WSoul13 on Reddit, right? So it's the u/WSoul13. And that's all my stuff on Reddit. So what is this event about? First, we got to count the fragments. The reason why is because we're used to the 115 this year. Almost everything has been 115 this year. But you still got to count. I know it's ritualistic and it's dumb, but you got to do it just to make sure that your math is correct, right? And you got to double count and recheck, all right? So, okay, what did I do there? All right, let's go count real quick. So we got 20, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 75, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 115. So yes, it's 115 fragments, and then we got 20 from Summon Rush, 15 for Champ Chase. So by now we're familiar with this format, right? This is Plarium's new way of doing the fusion events, which means you either have to max out Summon Rush or max out Champ Chase and get the first 5 fragments of Summon Rush. So it's been pretty predictable how much they've been asking for those things, even with Helicath, right? So I'm going to say about kind of the same thing as I did with Helicath, which is you guys got to chill, yo. Like, this isn't the first fusion that's good, and this won't be the last fusion that's going to be good in Raid. And, you know, Dreng is good. Like, he's not Helicath good. So if you're looking for something that's going to top Helicath, well, you know, it's not happening with Dreng, right? So Helicath is on a different level. He might be the best fusion we've ever had in terms of, like, the cost and the power. You know, so like Demitha and Brogni were higher in cost, in my opinion. I think objectively they were higher in cost. Like, it's not an opinion. And then Helicath, the cost was a lot lower to get him. And I feel like, you know, fragment events where the champ is good, like Iron Brago, like this one, Dreng. You know, these are good. These are good to have in a game. Always good to have in a game. And in my opinion, I feel like Walking Tomb Dreng is definitely like an A+, an S tier champ almost, you know. But, you know, he is very nichey in a lot of ways. Like, there's not much reason for you to go after him if you already have AoE HP burn, right? So let's do a quick breakdown of the events. So we already know Summon Rush is coming. So it's Champ Chase. We have Champ Chase coming up first. I think that's going to be paired with Void 2X, right? So we've already seen the Void 2X, right? Yeah, Void Rush is coming. So we're having Void 2X. So first off is cost. When it comes to Champ Chase, Voids have terrible value in Champ Chase, right? If it is not a 2x. So if it's not on Summon Rush, Voids are 120 a pop. In Champ Chase, if 2x is on and you get the 16% epics that you're supposed to get, I mean, I know it doesn't break down to an even number, like 10. You know, if you round up and you get 2 out of 10, then that's 700 plus 400, so that's like a 110, right? Am I right there? That's like 110 points per shard. So it kind of breaks down close to that. It's like 109 point something per shard on average. That's contingent on you pulling epics. Of course, if you pull the Lego, I mean, great, congratulations. But, you know, most of us are not going to pull the Lego. So it is what it is. It's part of the RNG of Raid. So it's actually not bad compared to the 120 you get in Summon Rush, with the caveat of you need to pull epics. If you don't pull epics, well, you're going to have a bad time. Like you're 10, you're 20, and you don't pull an epic, or you pull just one epic, you're looking at what? 500 points plus 850, something like less than 2,000 points, right? 500 plus 850, 800. So that would be 1,300. So you're only about halfway to the 2,500 you'll need. That's if you get really unlucky. So if you pull less than 20 void shards to get your 2,500 points, then you're great. I think you did a really good RNG. Anything more than that, I think your RNG was probably terrible. I would actually even think about pulling Ancients here, honestly, to fill the gap. Like, let's say you have a stopgap of maybe you just want to do a 10 pull of Void Shards, and that's it. Because you want to save Void Shards for a guaranteed epic if they ever give one again. They haven't given one since, I think, January of this year. So it's been a while. We're due for a guaranteed Void epic if they are going to do it again. They did it twice last year, and I think in pretty close proximity. Madam Ceres and Inquisitor Shamel, so those are both really good. And then Godseeker and Eerie, of course, this year was also really, really good in terms of Void Epic. So yeah, if you could do like 10 Voids and then the rest filled with Ancient Shards, Mystery Shards, stuff like that, I'm actually okay with pulling Ancient Shards outside of a 2x for Champ Chase these days. Just because I really, really, really want to save those Void Shards. Like Ancients and Mysteries are throwaway shards. You can do whatever you want with them. But Voids and Sacreds are so valuable, and they need to be preserved no matter what, right? So I think if you are going to go that path, you're going to end up with whatever many Void Shards you wish to spend, plus Ancients and Mysteries. Well, Mysteries first, obviously. And then you're going to end up spending about 3 Sacreds to get that first 5 fragments for Summon Rush, which is going to be around 1,750 points. That's what they've been offering for the past few days. Yeah, so let's go straight to Dreng now and talk about him. So that's the cost. So up front, the cost is going to be somewhere between 20 Void Shards, 3 Sacreds, some Ancients / Mysteries to fill the gap, right? So that's actually not bad in my opinion for Dreng. So a lot of people might be 0 on shards because they went all in on Helicath, which is perfectly fine. Like skipping is definitely a thing these days, and you'll be skipping on a good one, to be honest. So this is probably the number 2 best fusion this year, right? So number 1 would be Helicath. Walking Tomb Dreng is a clear number 2, but rankings don't matter as much as absolute value, right? So his absolute value comes from this A2, which is cannot be resisted AoE HP burn, which means that Dreng will partner extremely well with Sisha for Spiders 25, right? And HP champ, easy to keep alive, so great for progressing through the game. And as if that's not good enough, right? If you can pair him with somebody that puts HP burn on over and over again, like Drex, this could be a speed comp somewhere for some of the harder Doom Tower bosses. because Drex will be able to put the HP burn over and over again, and then Dreng will be able to activate every time he hits the boss with an A1. So you can put him in something that makes him retaliate a lot. So maybe the revenge accessories, anything that can make him counterattack, like team counterattack probably would work, stuff like that. But if you can find a way to make him A1 over and over again at the boss and have the HP burn placed over and over again at the boss, this one could be a pretty good A1, right? And then the A3 actually I think has a niche purpose in Knight Revenant, because that faction, you're really, really hungry for any kind of healing outside of regen and immortal set. So this HP rebalance can be a big deal, especially if you have a champ that can keep himself alive really well, like Miscreated Monster, and then you can just top everybody off. And it also lowers the cooldown of the AoE HP burn itself, right? Exalted Pyre, right? By 1. And this books down to a 3-turn cooldown, so you can actually have this go on a 2-turn cooldown. So you can go A2, A3, A2 again. That's sick, especially with Sisha. Because if you can get a reset on with Sisha, you can have this go on really, really quick and not even bother with the reset timing on your AoE HP burn. So I don't know. I feel like he is really, really good, but easily not as necessary if you already have AoE HP burn on your roster, right? So once you have AoE HP burn on your roster, like the incessant need to get him isn't quite there, but he is going to be better than most of your AoE HP burn champs. Like, it is what it is. He's better than Drex in terms of just putting AoE HP burn on. I think he's better than Drex. He's better than, the only one that could be close would be Ignatius, I think. He's the only one that does the burn that cannot be resisted. There are other ones that bring a lot more utility, I think, that have been buffed recently, like Venus, but those are all legendaries, right? So in terms of epics, I think Dreng is better. And if you haven't heard this take before, my take on fusion champs has always been that they're not legendaries per se. They're actually upgrades or a rarity shift of some kind of meta champs. So we've seen AoE HP burn before, right? But this one is a guaranteed way for you to get it, which is you participate in a fusion event, you get AoE HP burn. Same thing with Helicath, which is kind of like Valkyrie Shield plus Unkillable, So you can get that through the fusion events. And in a lesser sense, Bivald actually does kind of the same thing, which is the AoE damage and turn that into shield, which is something Miscreated Monster and I think Sir Nick were the only ones that were able to do with Legacy Raid, So you gotta think about it kind of in those terms as well when you make these valuations of what you think a champ should be worth, right? So I'd say definitely he's worth going for, especially if you're building up a roster to try to beat Knight's Revenant. I feel like Walking Tomb Dreng is going to be an ingredient there in terms of Knight's Revenant. So I am restarting New Game Plus. So this will be the first fusion champ of that new batch of New Game Plus. I'll still be wrapping up some of the things from the old New Game Plus. So if you don't know what New Game Plus is, I've been trying to create a end game comp with just fusion champs and guaranteed champs and free champs that we've gotten this year. And because of Helicath, we're finished, right? Helicath and that's it. So Helicath means you can 4-key, 3-key Ultra Nightmare, right, if you build a comp. And it's so easy to build. I have a Valicath comp built for Helicath, which is it's not affinity friendly, but it's very scalable to a 2 or 3-key and easily a 4-key on Ultra Nightmare. And you can check that out on my channel, right, for Helicath. That is my Helicath build that I'm going with. And that's it, guys. I feel like we did really good with Walking Tomb Dreng here. So if you guys decide to get him, I think well worth your time, well worth your shards. If you don't, and you're keeping your powder dry for the next guaranteed, the next fusion event, you already have AoE HP burn. You're not concerned about pairing anything up with Sisha to do your fast Fighters 25 runs. I feel like it's okay. It's okay to skip. In general, my recommendation is if you have the resources, never skip a fusion. That's just the way I look at it, even in these times that it's gotten a lot steeper. But, if you don't have the resources, especially if you don't have the resources for the next one potentially, you should think about skipping. It's just the way it is, because the cost has definitely gone up. Another thing too, I'll point out before we leave, is that I noticed there's like a 2-day break between the Dungeon Diver events, and it's getting that Dungeon Diver is like easily the most annoying part of the fusion events for me. And it forces you to time when to do your tournaments, like Dragons. I don't want to do Dragons now because Dungeon Divers isn't up. The flip side of that is, if I count it all on the day that it overlaps with Dungeon Divers, which could be like a day to 36 hours maybe, I might miss the fragment, So do you play now? Do you play when it's the best efficiency? In my opinion, you should always play when you can, right? And then just let the chips fall where they may. Having planned days when to play, it really introduces a chance of failure that you otherwise would not have had if you just kind of like played every day, But definitely, we're all busy people, and time management is a thing, right? So, yeah, that is something you need to think about when you're playing Raid these days, right? Like when to actually play. So in a fusion event, and if you're going for a fusion, it's better to play it whenever you can and get those fragments in. So that's it, guys. I think we'll see y'all next time. We'll do a recap of how the champ chase did, like how much they asked for and all that stuff. I don't expect it to be different, because if they did upcharge for a helicap, I mean, they kind of did with a summon rush, but with the champ chase, they did not upcharge on helicap. So I feel like it's probably gonna be the same thing for Dreng. All right, see y'all next time.